sorry I'm a little bit late. Just some technical difficulties with internet here. So got everything going, and here we go. I'll just jump right in. My name is Halli. Most of you who are watching, if you end up watching this, probably know me already, but I'm in group 130 of Corps Thailand, and I live in Suksamran Ranong, which is in the South Thailand. It's like the middle upper South. So it's right next to Burma. It's really beautiful. And I am a test volunteer teaching empowerment for student success. And I teach Pratom 1 through Pratom 6 every class twice a week. So today I'm just going to show you a document that 130 volunteers who are on the curriculum team made. And I'm going to go through each section briefly. We made the document based on the 4 skills, so reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And I'll highlight a few items from each section, and then you can kind of just go off of those descriptions in the document. And yeah, so here we go. I'll just start by showing you the document. In the description of this video, there should be a link to that document. So if you want to look at it yourself, just go ahead and grab that link and click through, and it should come up. By the way, if you have any questions, you can always comment them on this video, or you can email teachingpct@gmail.com. So I'll show you the video now. Okay, wow, that looks crazy. So here we go. Here is the document. As you can see, it's outlined in 4 sections here. So the first section we have is the speaking section. And then I'll just scroll through really quick to give you an overview. Speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And in each section we have an activity on the left side, and then on the right, it's just some tips related to that activity about how you can use that and different ways that you can modify it for your classroom. And of course, there are always infinite ways you can use that in your classroom as well. Okay, so sorry, just one second. So in speaking, I'm going to highlight Duck Duck Goose first. So this is a very classic game in the United States and in Thailand. And with Duck Duck Goose, it's played the same way, but you can play it with letters. You can play it with an English word. The way that we trained it during our mini teacher training at Reconnect was the person who is walking around the outside of the circle says the English word, and then when they say the Thai word, the Thai translation, then they run, and the person that they tap when they see the Thai word chases them around the circle. So that's one way that you can play it. In my classroom, we play it with vocabulary words. We'll put the vocab flashcards on the board in an order, a non-specific order, and then the students say the first word, and then when they want the student to run, they say the second word, and then the next student would say the second word, and then when they want the student to run, they say the third word. So it's kind of some speaking practice just for the one student, and then listening practice for the other students to be listening for the next vocabulary word. You could also use it for sentence structure, numbers or letters. I actually played this today with my students using letters, and it's really, really fun. No matter what you use, the students really enjoy it, and it's just kind of an easygoing way to use to get them speaking. So let's see. The other thing I want to highlight in speaking is these CVC sliders. And consonant vowel sliders. Here it says talk to Dylan. So I'm assuming this is Dylan Castle, and you can reach out to him if you have any questions about that. But I also use these in my classroom. Right now we're just starting with consonant and vowel. So I'm going to actually show you those. Just one second. So these are my consonant vowel sliders, and we're just now making consonant vowel consonant sliders to use in our classroom. So these are consonant vowels. So what we do is we start with this and we just say and then we say s, d, qua. And we have the students repeat after us or take the lead on using these sliders in front of the class. Yeah, so you can do this, or if you have, you can put letters on either side and then make this main out of vowels, and then you can slide the consonant vowel consonant blends to do that. There's also a really cool phonics flipbook activity where it's in our materials folder, and I think it's on the website, where each there's 3 letters and there's stacks of letters under each one, and then you can just flip the letters around so you can see different words. And I'll post a link to that in this video as well. So that's consonant vowel consonant blenders. These are good for reading and also speaking practice in general, just getting them talking. All right, so I'll move on to the next one here. So next we have listening, and under listening, there's a couple of really fun things. One thing I just want to point out is like vocabulary sound, or like basically all of these pages are based on one lesson theme. So this one is based on animals, but you obviously don't have to do this with animals. So just vocabulary song, singing any song that's connected to your vocabulary, and then actions are really good. This is a good use for TPR, total physical response. Then we have story time, which I've never done before, but it looks like a lot of fun. And talking with the volunteers that did this training, it sounds like a really great activity. So you teach the vocabulary, and then you give students vocabulary cards. And then when they hear their vocabulary word, their animal in this example, in the story, they stand up or step forward. So again, total physical response and also listening, which is what we're practicing here. It also says here, closing eyes is a huge game changer. So just pay attention to that, because it really is when it comes to listening, because they don't have any other stimuli in kind of engaging them at that moment. And then fruit salad and where the wind blows are both similar games. Yeah, so where the wind blows is basically the same as fruit salad, but both of these activities are really good for listening. Where you would say, fruit salad is explained above, so I don't have to explain it here. All right, and then we have reading. So with reading, this was my group, so I have a little bit more insight on this one, just from the other volunteers. And then, so super speed phonics and 100. Phonics is letters and phonic sounds, and then 100 is Fry's first 100 sight words. So there's links to both of these books right here. You can just click here if you download this document, or go to this document in the description of the video. And you can just click on this, and go to the link, and that will take you to, I'll do it, and that will take you to this book. And the directions are in the book, and it's really straightforward as far as I think. But what you do is you go through with the students and you say, if you're doing phonics, then you would say ah, 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 and then ah, ah, b. And the way that it's explained is that you pair the students off, and then they alternate saying a letter. So it would be partner 1 says ah, partner 2 says ah, partner 1 says ah, partner 2 says ah, and so on. And then it does change a little bit once it gets down here to the challenge, and it does get quite a bit harder for the students. So yeah, and then it goes through all the letters. You can also do this for letter recognition by just saying the letter name. B, B. Yeah, so that's really helpful as well. And then the reading techniques, I'll quickly demonstrate some of those just so that there's a video record of that. So sounding out words, I'm going to use a whiteboard here to show you what that might look like. So sounding out words would be if you have bat. And that's kind of after you give them phonics, the power of phonics, and they can use the letter sounds to sound out words. So that's a really powerful reading technique to give your students. Something that's often overlooked is like, we think our students maybe have these skills already, but we basically just need to think that we need to teach them everything. Reading is taught differently here, and they just may not know some of these techniques yet. So yeah, so consider teaching sounding out words. Another one is blending. So if you think about common blends like ST or PL. So if you teach them a blend and you practice this after you teach them letters and phonics, you teach blends as like a phonics unit. So st, st, and then like, this is kind of a complicated example, but stay, and then play. So yeah, this is a good way to teach students how to read with fluency. Okay, and back to sharing. Oh, I think there's one more. And then the last one is breaking down compound words. So the way that this is done is if we have a bigger word, often that stops students, especially foreign language learners. So if we teach them, let's just say, so football. So if we teach them both sides of the word, and then we can teach them to put it together. So football. This can also help them with understanding. So football is, obviously American football is different, but in Thai culture and most of the world, football is soccer. So teaching them football is, they have to think about the word foot, and then they think about the word ball. And if they can understand foot and ball, then they might be able to create the meaning football, soccer. So that's that. And those are super helpful with teaching reading to kids and helping them feel sufficient to do it by themselves. And then we have rock, paper, scissors, ladder. So I'm going to show a quick video of this from Julia, who's in 130 in the Kumsi Tamarat, and she's wonderful. So the description is here. I'm going to just go through it kind of quickly. You lay a group of cards in a row on the floor, and then you just break your groups up, and each group starts at the end of the ladder. The ladder is the row of words on the floor. And then each student starts at the opposite end and reads inward. So they read the first word, and then they read the second word, and then the middle word is in between both groups. So whenever they meet at a word, whether that's, the second word for the first person or whatever that is, whenever they meet at a word, they play rock, paper, scissors. And then whoever wins continues down the ladder, and then whoever loses goes to the end of their line, and then the person at the front of their line starts reading at the far end again, or at the close end again. So I'll show you a video because it tends to be a little bit confusing. It's a really great game. Many people say that it's like their most fun game. Their kids love it the most, and they play it, and the kids don't get tired of it ever. So this is a good one to know about. So this is Julia playing rock, scissors, ladder in her classroom, and I'm going to mute it. So you can see they're using consonant, vowel, consonant blends, and Julia's standing close by so she can hear them and make sure they're saying the right words. And they play rock, paper, scissors, and then they're tying, which is great. Having a little bit of internet trouble again. Sorry about that. Okay, so he won. So she goes to the end of her line, and then a new person from her line starts reading with sit, and then lid. They meet at lid. They play again, rock, paper, scissors. She won, so he goes to the end of his line, and she starts with lid and continues. And then they meet up and they play again. So as soon as a student reads all of the words, 5 words or however many words you use, their team would get a point if you're playing with points. So great job, Julia. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so that's all for reading. There's also more obviously in the document, but that's all for reading for now here. And then, just a minute, back to screen sharing. And then finally, last but not least, we have, just to shout out Ashley really quick, this reading conga line is super fun, so make sure you check that out as well. Okay, so now under writing, the first game that we have is this phonics game, which is listed as a motivation, but you can use it however you decide to use phonics in your classroom. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this one as well in just a minute, but to show you kind of just explain it a little bit. Phonics game is a review. They're using it as a review of A to E. Obviously, you can use other letters if you've taught them and just make different words. So the announcer divides the class into equal teams and gives a whiteboard to each team. So I have real whiteboards, but you can also use laminated cut up paper or sheet protectors with white paper inside. That's really easy to do. So the announcer says a word and then sounds out each letter without saying the letters. So for example, cab, b, and then the students work in teams to write the word. So I'll show you an example of this just with my whiteboard really quick. So, cab, k, b, and the students would work together and think about what it might be, and then they would write this word and they might hold it up on their whiteboard so the teacher can see. So it's pretty straightforward. And then the last activity is a writing relay. So I'll go back to the document, and I have another video to show you from Kunni in Trang. Okay, so here is writing relay, just the description first. The class is divided into teams. Each team lines up. You can sit down or stand up, whatever is easiest for them to be able to write. And then the first person in line gets a whiteboard or a piece of paper. The teacher says a word, the first student writes the word, and then passes the whiteboard to the person behind them. So they continue to pass, or you can pass it forward. Either way, whatever works best for your classroom and your setup. But you just pass the paper, pass the paper, pass the paper. Every student has to write the word. And then the last student to write brings the paper up to the teacher. And if all the words are not written correctly, then they have to go back and fix the incorrect word before the other teams get in. And then the points are given in a descending order. So if there are 5 groups, the first group gets 5 points, second group gets 4 points. There are some modifications on the document, but I'll show a video really quick of me. It's a little unclear on my computer, so I apologize in advance for that, but you should still be able to get the gist of the game. So as you can see, the students are in lines here. The teacher's standing up at the front. Everybody's writing the word, and it looks like they're passing it forward, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so they're passing it forward, and everybody's writing it. Thai students generally write pretty neat, but there may be some sort of incentive here for making sure that they have clean penmanship, so that the teacher can understand all the letters and make sure everything's spelled correctly. So this game is super exciting. The kids love it. And even if you're not focusing on writing as much, this is really fun for the kids, and it's really good practice for teaching them after you've taught them the spelling of the words. So checking the words here. Good job. So their team gets 5 points, or however many, depending on how many teams they have. They had a mistake, so they go back and fix it. And little things like letting the students give their own points goes a long way as well here. So this is writing relay, and everybody comes up and lines up, and then as soon as all the teams are done, they all get points, but you can see some of them going back to fix some errors. So penmanship and just taking your time, making sure that you're writing correctly. This is a really, really great activity for writing. Okay. So back to the document really quick. Yeah, simple word recall here is super great for seeing what they remember from their lesson today. So just many of these activities can be used any day, and they're super, super helpful for keeping things fun and keeping things changing. So if you're kind of finding yourself in a rut, like doing the same kind of stuff over and over again in your classroom, which I know happens to me sometimes, just kind of check this document out, and feel free to email us at any time with any questions. Again, our email is teachingpct@gmail.com. Or if you know we are representatives from the curriculum team, you can always reach out to us individually as well. That email kind of comes to all of us, so whoever is available can respond as soon as possible. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I hope this was somewhat helpful for some people, and you got some inspiration, and good luck the rest of the school year. See you all soon. Thank you. Bye.